here. Just while that one is uploading, the reason for coming here is the sort of miasma that hangs over the city means that your brain just doesn't work. Now, when I say your brain doesn't work, I mean your brain does not work. You cannot think because you'll be violently assaulted if you try in the city. Ergo, any sort of intellectual or ethical pursuit is effectively off limits. So, if you're getting kept out of a criminal defence empire and you're working for the police of Birmingham, it's effectively like every day is kind of a psychic attack because you're surrounded by people who expect you to lie to protect their sort of fake careers. You're not going to do that, so you're sort of taking the weight of, overseeing ethics in Birmingham's court service by yourself around people who will just kill you because you're an inconvenience. So if you wanted to do that job for 33,000 quid a year for a guy who will stab you to death for money, feel free. But they offered me a further £5,000 to go out there and be stabbed to death by other people. But I thought, I'll leave it, guys. But in terms of the I mean, these statements come out of your mouth and you say, no, this is hyperbole. It can't be an accurate statement of reality. Then you think about it for another 30 seconds and you think, oh right, yes it is. Because if it wasn't true, I would have been, perfectly lucid, sitting in one of the offices, discussing security with someone who was sensible and adult and could have an adult discussion. But of course, we're in November till now, so we've got silly women playing with laptops and no adult men who are willing to go along with them. So the silly women are creating fake men to engage in compliance because the adult men won't. Again, you make these statements that are so obvious, but they become scary because they become so obvious that they're clearly true. Stuff that's clearly been true has been hammered into their servers since November, and there is nobody saying, oh right, this is clearly true, yes, we'll take some kind of action that would involve the summoning of West Midlands Police. So again, you just think of the timeline, you think, okay, well, this is not really normal, is it, under any kind of normal circumstance? All of the logical outs Gentieri would have had from November to now have not been taken deliberately. So this is someone who does actually think they are above the law and still receiving money from the police of Birmingham when this is quite clearly criminal behaviour. You can't go through this kind of fictitious quote-unquote process where you decide the lives of other people have no value because you deem them not to be worthy of such, because you've decided ultimately you'd quite like money from central government for attacking people's children, when your tang size of court officers are saying, we can't do that, and this person is dangerous and needs to be removed. Because this wasn't nipped in the bud 6 years ago, again, other very large adult men are being assaulted with weapons and potentially giving their lives away, so these silly women can have these sort of fake patronage jobs in Birmingham and collect money they're clearly not entitled to. Again, fairly straightforward statement that is quite easy to sort of demonstrate in front of a court or tribunal. So again, you think this through, I don't actually know what planet these people are playing on. McGrath and Co are only ever going to get one message from me saying, can we have a solicitor from you? If they're not going to respond to a single message, I'm going to chase them up. It's down to them to come back if they want to actually behave. But we don't actually want their input. We want a solicitor referred outside. We've had a quick chat with John Holbrook, who got the message that we needed to go quite quickly, that I needed to get the name for his barrister to phone before getting up north was not lost on him. But the cost of 300 quid now, these little morons are going to be putting themselves into a jail cell. I'm happy to pay for this guy's time, but he's got to actually be engaged by people within the bureaucracy. And if you've got these silly little crooks playing around, then, someone like that will work pro bono, I'm sure, to put these women away. The desire to bring some of these people to justice is overwhelming across the legal profession, I'm sure, after what they've endured, especially after the past few years or so. So reducing morse like this, I think they did, is going to be a wonder for some of these guys. And even if you want money, the position in Birmingham is, even if McGrath and Co. has just totally destroyed the reputation of the family firm and are just the most corrupt lawyers ever and just want money, I don't care. As long as I put stuff through the legal process and want to have a mercenary attitude, that's fine. Because I want people who will attack other people on my behalf in an ethical sense, because that's what we did previously. But I ain't going to do that unless the people currently running the firm are going to help my colleagues, as they've been told to do, by the way, to other people in the department. I'm not interested in personal matters at the moment. They can help one of my colleagues who was constructively dismissed back in 2013, so she can come first. But, the idea that they ever thought they would get away with half of this is so deranged, and that they thought they could disrespect the McGraths in Birmingham at any point. And this came after the old guy's funeral as well. These people just have no clue what's about to hit them. So we'll get this sent off then. So again, time of recording is what? We're now 4:10. I think we are Tuesday. I've lost track of time. Again, still no police contact. Made it quite clear to these people that we'll put them away for a long time. I'm sitting with the police station down the corner, and Edinburgh Police Standards apparently can't get back to me. So, if you receive the documentation from the Birmingham County Court saying a possession order has been requested, this is going to be the easiest thing for Shelter in the world. We'll give Abigail pure gold, even though she's not a friend of the family either, and she left to pursue her own life. We owe each other nothing. But if they want me to do free case reviews, I can appear by the magic of communication technology into a courtroom, and we can discuss how the department is run and being run, and make the point that enforcement is logically and legally not actually possible. So if they've issued a possession order from, I will say, we'll be conservative, by the way, we'll say December, I will certify that it basically ain't valid, unless they can demonstrate to me effectively that they've gone through some kind of legal process which will address the behaviour of the people in charge, and good luck effectively. Because the tendril will go back to Gilbourne, and they ain't going to do that. So again, it's good to come in and think this through, because it changes nothing. We've had various opportunities to say, oh right, they've made a mistake, but every time you walk and think it through, it just gets worse. There's never at any point where you think that the course of action could logically have been different, because as soon as, I think it's Diana Campbell, that was her name, wasn't it, in the city solicitor, was playing with the communications as well. Ricocheting that on down, just a complete disaster. From both their parts, we had to be sensible, so you can't get into a fight when the fight is immediately going to lead to sort of lots of likely proximal violence. But now, with 6 years down the line, there's no excuse for this anymore. If you're running that kind of department and you are polluting the legal process, you've got to be dealt with. So we can't have that kind of stuff going on in public bodies. There's no way of resolving this without police assistance. So again, it's blasting away through layers of corrupt bureaucrats. So you've got one idiot, then another one comes, then another one. We've got rid of Southall, we've got rid of Fern. Beale was never important anyway, so now just this ignorant little crook playing about. But as soon as I forget how long she's been doing this as well, it's been a few weeks now, but as soon as she's dealt with, we can get proper enforcement back and forwards. But the problem they've now got is, because we were so quick off the mark from November till now, it was from literally street homers to the sort of security vetting we've now got. They're just done. They can't comprehend the position we're now in, because our feet have been so firmly planted for 6 years. That they're struggling to get any kind of purchase, and they're refusing to give up. Effectively, is the current position. We've given them until Monday. Gone. That's in the database, and still no response. So again, no more playing with these people. If you can track them down, point them out to police, please. So West Midlands Police. Get a contact to me up in Scotland. We all sit down with representation, which they've got to arrange, and start going through witness statements to put some of these crooks away. This is why they could never win as well, because the Celts are the most ancient recorded peoples in history. Our roots do come from this place. You can feel it as soon as you come here. You're less debilitated by the revolting city of Birmingham and getting back into something that clearly feels natural to you. But because these people have no will behind them, they are cowardly, they hide, play these silly games, and it's just a case of the will every day just propels you forward, whereas they're back to hiding in the cave, unable to answer, because they know they're criminals. As soon as corporate communications has taken over, it's used to attack British children. They're all complicit as soon as that goes on. So we've done our work. We couldn't do much more, and we'll carry on just picking over the ruins from space and keeping watch over the city. But we'll finish that thought off then. So again, in my absence, anyone picking this kind of stuff up, if I catch anyone less capable than me being attacked by some of the little idiots in that city in my absence, once we actually do get links between police. The way the brain works, you're probably going to start to work out. I'll put you in a box first. So I'm having no more of this. My colleagues are being dumped off by idiots. You can go and help them, and that means the HR idiots can go and look after them properly, which will mean removal of Darren Canning, someone who put on a disability conference with 2 days' notice, so he could pretend he was doing the job, where his crook little cretin hadn't done occupational health for 6 years during a global disaster, and this crook got caught on the hop because of his professional colleagues actually reminding him that he has to comply when he was using again a public body, a vehicle for his own advancement, as were many of his disgraceful associates. No more. Sick of these people. They deserve not a penny of public money from the way Birmingham's been run. So holding some of these people accountable for their behaviour over the past 6 years is long overdue, and hopefully that can start at some point once the head of West Midlands Police has stopped apologising for stuff he hasn't done, because mobs of activists telling him to say sorry is apparently too scary for him, despite only taking on the job. I don't even know what he's put into post. But if you can't deal with John Cotton, you can't deal with large blokes with weapons attacking your officers. So, see you.